What's going on, everybody? It's Dwayne here, and we're back with another installment of tone recreation on the Quad Cortex. And it's what it says on the tin. It's where we take a song from a particular artist and we try and recreate the tone from scratch. We build it right here in on the video, and then I upload it to the cloud at the end, and you can load it into your Quad Cortex, play around with it, gig with it, modify it, do whatever you like. Everything's open here. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I've done a couple of these now, and go check those out. You can kind of see the workflow of how I do it, but we will touch on a lot of things that I do in those other videos because there are certain things that overlap regardless of the style that you're trying to recreate. There are little tricks that you can use to, get that particular type sound or work it out, really. I'm using my Epiphone, which has Fishman Fluence modern pickups. It's actually it's the Matt Heafy model, obviously known as the guitarist and vocalist from Trivium. I think the pickups are slightly a little bit voiced to his needs, but largely they're Fishman Fluence modern pickups. So if you have Fishman Fluence modern pickups, it's going to obviously help. And today's song that we're doing is Feel Alive by Suicide Silence. So I'm just going to play a little bit of snippet of this. It's from the album they released in 2020 called Become the Hunter. And basically, this song it's beautiful. It's got this chunky riff at the start, which has nothing behind it. Perfect for us. And then it has a really nice, solid, feel all the way through. Nice, simple riffing. And if you haven't listened to this album, go check it out because it's really, really good. So I'll play the song now. You get the idea. That riff kind of carries through the song basically the whole way. So there's a few little tricks that you can use to kind of deduce an artist sound. You can look up their equipment. You can look up gear rig rundowns on YouTube. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to use Equipboard, and I've got Mark Hellman's Equipboard page open here. And what we're going to do is we're going to scroll through. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll through here and we're going to look for information about pickups he's using. We can see his guitars and most importantly, amps. I can hear there's probably not really any pedals being used here. And sure enough, I can see effects pedals here is one, which might be a tuner or something. So let's go down. And we can see that he's using Fishman Fluence modern pickups, which is what's loaded into my guitar. He's using Mesa Boogie triple rectifier Mark V as well. What else is he using? 5150 with EL34s. He's also using a 5153, which is like a classic modern metal amplifier that I use a lot of artists do. Accompanying 5153, 412 cabinet, a 212 variation of it, Fort and Cali. He's using a Dunable Eidolon. So one thing we've worked out here is he's using a Mesa Boogie, which you can actually honestly hear if you I'm not a big gearhead, but you can just you can hear a Mesa Boogie, especially when it's kind of that with no bass or anything behind it. So we're going to actually work with that and build a preset on the basis of it's a Mesa Boogie in there. And there are actually a few different versions of Mesa Boogies in there that we can use. So we're just going to get started here. And first thing with a tone like this, even though I couldn't actually see one in the list on the Equipboard, is a noise gate. Otherwise, if you don't have it, especially if you're using an amp like a Mesa Boogie, it's going to be loud and a bit messy as well. So I'm going to go for the dual rectifier channel 3 modern. I'm going to leave those settings as default. Now we could see on there he was using a 412 cabinet in there as well. So We're going to go for something with V30s in there. Usually I would choose like the Zilla cabinet, which I've pinned up here. But we're going to go traditional, and we're going to try and get something that sounds kind of more standardish, because his gear, from what I can see, is quite simple and amp driven, which is going to be perfect for us as well. It will mean we won't really need to do much equalization or anything like that, comparatively to some other plugins that I use. So I'm going to do the V30 90s. One thing we might need to do is we might need to change the mic on one of these cabinets. We've got 160, 121, 906, 57, 421. I think the ribbon 160 is probably fine to keep, as is the 57. I like to move this to the end so I have a space for an equalizer and whatnot. Let's listen to hear what this sounds like. I'm in drop D now as well, but we will need a pitch shifter to go down, because I can hear this is not drop D. It's probably like drop A or something. Wow. It sounds terrible. So, one thing I am going to do, and I couldn't see that he was using one, but I could see that this probably needs a boost. Kind of, this is, I guess, when you use a tube screamer in this way, it's more of an equalizer and boost. But because we're using active pickups, you don't want it to be that high. Otherwise, the amp's going to be too driven. If you were using passive pickups, you probably would. Okay, not happy with that tone at all. It's clear we're going to need to do a few adjustments. Now, this sounds pretty gained in the original song, but I try not to use too much gain, if that makes sense. I find the Quad Cortex, like a lot of the amp models, the high gain amp models, they tend to be a little bit higher gain than probably their real world equivalents. I guess they're modeled versions after all, but I do find that sometimes less gain on the Quad Cortex comparatively, even if you had the real dual rectifier, you would find there's subtle differences because it's digitally modeled, of course, not modded. So I turned down the gain, and I turned up the master. Now, I'd be more inclined to add a little bit of mids in there, and maybe bump up the bass just a little bit. The thing is, you don't want to like make it muddy. Okay, now try bumping up the gain. We'll go to 6. But before we do that, one thing that's bothering me is a tuning's too high. So I'm in drop D. And I'm gonna go down 4 semitones from drop D. Oh wow, I was just assuming like that riff from memory of like knowing it. But let's go to our stems here. Can I repeat a section? That'd be cool. I think I can. No. Why can't I repeat a section? Okay. It sounds way too fuzzy to me. Way too fuzzy. So, we're going to turn down the gain on that. think that's how the riff goes. There's something about it that doesn't quite sound right, and my hunch is it's probably cabinet contributing to that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to audition some of these cabs until we find something that sounds good. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I want stereo cabinets, not mono cabinets. No, way too high sounding, hey? That one sounds not too bad. Try turning off the boost pedal. Oh, wow, okay. Now, is it the pitch shifter that's making it sound that terrible? It's going to set the pitch shifter to false. Sick of it being negative 12. Okay, so the pitch shifter is making the sound a bit terrible, and I wonder if I'm actually not in tune. Oh, wow, okay. These are new strings, but I did tune this guitar not long ago. No, I like it all to be in tune from a tension perspective. Okay, we're in tune now. Maybe instead of going down, let's try going down 4 now we're in tune. That could have been the issue. I mean, this sounds okay. Pitch shifting isn't an exact science, and sometimes like the lower you go, the worse it can sound, especially depending on like the kind of sound that you're going for, especially this higher gain stuff. Usually when I pitch shift down, I'm actually doing it on really low gain EVH, 5153 amps and stuff. But maybe we can make that work, eh? In fact, I've got a better idea. We're going to dial this tone in without the pitch shifter and then turn the pitch shifter on, and then maybe we'll do some EQ or something. Maybe we can learn how to play it on this. Okay. All right. So I think we need some mids on here as well. Kind of gives it a little bit more bite. But now it doesn't sound as like this missing gain. It's missing like it needs. Now it sounds too fizzy. Maybe we'll try 5-5. Okay, maybe we do need an equalizer here. So for that, we're going to use the Graphic 9 equalizer, and we're actually going to bump. We're going to bump this low frequency up a little bit at 125 to give it a little bit of low end, and we're going to bump the 250 up as well. Now you can actually hear, listen to this. I'll just do a ring out. Here it adds a little bit more low end into that, which is kind of probably what you want for this style of, I guess, tone. You want a little bit more like almost bassness, because if I bass, not bassness. If you listen to this, let's try the pitch shifter again and go down 4 semitones, and we're going to play. I'm actually going to play the proper song. This one's proving a little bit more trickier because we put the pitch shifter in there and it's making the sound really like shit. Maybe we actually do want to have a play in here. That is actually doing not a too bad of a job. Let's put a low pass filter on there. So with the EQ, sometimes you just play around with it. The thing that the Quad Cortex doesn't do that a real EQ plugin does is the waveform will play behind. You can actually do like a spectral thing on the frequencies. With the Quad Cortex, you kind of have to play around to see what basically sounds right. So. Going to reset those. I think we need maybe just drive up a level. He wasn't using an overdrive pedal as far as I could see, so I'm actually going to remove it. We're going to put the master up to about 6. Then we're going to bump up the overall volume to about 4.2. Okay. Maybe this amp isn't what we're after. Maybe, what's the vintage like? I've never actually tried it. Terrible. You know what? I used one of these for one of my other videos, and this, the John one. How about the tremor? Oh, actually. Okay, this is a lot trickier than I thought. We're spending a lot more time on these cabinets and amps than I expected to. Once again, this pitch shift is adding a lot of junk in there. It's artifacting, I think. I bet on the cloud there's a great capture of like a Mark V or something. But one of the prerequisites of these videos is that we don't use captures or anything, because I don't know, I've had situations where I've used captures and then they've been deleted by the original user. Like, you can't trust they will always be there. And I don't know if I create a preset from a different capture and upload it, if that creates a copy or not, but maybe one of these John amps. Okay, so what we need to do, I'm going to use one of these John amps. Okay, so let's mess around with this amp. I actually ironically used this amp in one of my other videos. I can't remember which song it was, but it actually ended up really being a really solid amp. So I reckon we can try and make this work. Seems like a lot of bass has been pulled out of here. See, I don't even know if this is a default setting or if I accidentally set these as defaults. Okay. It's in like the classic V formation by the looks of it, where it's boosting up a lot of the low end. You know, the weird thing about this amp is I just pulled that bass out and I feel like it sounded terrible. So it's just good to just click around until you find something that works. Okay, I have no idea what shred does. How does this amp react to a pitch shifter? Is it in my head, or does that react better? And turn down the gain pool. I feel like we need to even go down another semitone. I don't know if my guitar's going out of tune, or I don't know. 5 is really artifacting quite bad on my guitar. Maybe we could make 3 work. Let's go back and play the song again. This is hard, isn't it? I feel like we need to use the dual rectifier, I think. But it's getting that terrible, like... No, we actually need that. Yeah, it's sounding pretty garbage to me. Let's just dial up the gain even more. I think that's the problem too. Yeah, I don't know what is actually going on here. Is it the speaker? Is it like the mic placement? Hey, maybe the mic placement is actually. No, it's like. Hey, we've got ourselves a little bit of a conundrum here because I'm actually struggling to get this to work nicely with the pitch shifter. I feel like the gain definitely needs to it needs to be dialed up. To me, I'm hearing a Mesa Boogie around like 8 gain, and maybe what I need to do is do some EQ perhaps. Like I'm hearing like lots of low end. I'm hearing quite a bit happening. Maybe we have too many mids. Maybe the approach I'm trying to take here is like I just scoop the mids down. It just sounds like sounds like the bass from Devil in a Midnight Mass by Billy Talent. Oh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Maybe I should dial the bass up actually. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to go 6 on master. We're going to crank the gain up. It's a Mesa. The gain needs to be cranked. We're going to go through and maybe what we'll do is we'll use cabinets that aren't Mesa cabinets. I'm going to do something blasphemous here. I'm going to ditch the Mesa entirely. And I'm going to use a 5150. Because I saw that Mark was actually using a 5150, whether or not he plays live with it or not. I know the 5150 can handle 4 semitones down on this guitar. Okay, I persisted with the Mesa for too long, admittedly. And I think really what I needed to do was let go of the notion that I could pitch shift into the Mesa and have it sound good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try dialing up the 5150. I never usually take this that high, but that song has some real gain to it. Got a bit of fizz now, doesn't it? Wow, look at the multi-outs. Not liking that. maybe we'll put the 5, put the... And maybe we need to dial back the output quite a bit. I saw they were doing that on the JP2C CA model actually. Maybe too much mid has been scooped. I actually think this sounds really good. Like, this is the closest that this is the closest we've gotten of this whole video. And who knows, how long has this been going for now? I'm recording, so I don't know, but we wasted way too much time on trying to get the Mesa sound when I don't even actually know if they even use the Mesa. It sounds like it, but I'm actually hearing we're getting pretty damn close using the 5153. So it's a little lesson for you. If something isn't working, maybe try something different, even if it's not the amp model that you want. So too much bass. Let's crank up the master even more. I reckon the master is actually probably pretty cranked on the original because it sounds really like... Go up to 10 on the gain. Too much. 5 on the gain. Maybe master back down. That's a little too much, hey? The mid definitely sounds scooped, doesn't it? Upon reflection. And maybe we should take the presence down as well. And maybe the outputs to dial back now. So I can see that it's still clipping, and we don't want that. And I definitely think we want more saturation in there. Oh yeah, okay, this is sounding so much better. We're making more progress than we ever did with the other Mesa models. And we're going to do the old classic 5153 trick. Hey, you know what? Let's compare that. Hey, what do you know? We actually have something that I think sounds pretty good. We could probably even play around with a different cabinet on there. We were using the 92. I was trying to use this one before. Oh, headphones on. Now, I can hear a bit of pick noise in there when I'm playing, and I actually wonder if we need to... actually, I think we need a little bit of treble in there. I think I can definitely hear the mids have been scooped now. Let's listen again. I didn't have my headphones on, so I couldn't actually hear myself playing there. But let's try again. Am I playing this wrong? It's 5-2-1. I was playing it like... It's like... I actually love that sound. I think it's close. We could probably go down the path of combining amps to even kind of get a bit more sound. We could probably throw in a dual rectifier underneath and like set it to be like 15% and split the chain. This actually sounds really good. Like, I actually really like how this sounds. Now I know how to actually play it. Let's play it again. Also, what we can do here as well, is there as much gain as it sounds like? Or is the master cranked? Kind of driving that. Is it like master 8 and like gain 5 or something? I think with a cranked master, that actually sounds really good. Maybe 7.7? 7. Maybe 7. It's definitely a dial. It's like a highly dialed amp. Hey, 1 second here. Check this out. Sorry for blasting your ears out, that's loud, but... I think I liked it around about 8. I'm going to save this. We're going to call it Feel Alive because it's the name of the song. This will be on the cloud as well. Oh yeah, I did do a low pass filter there and I boosted those frequencies. That all looks pretty good. So what we ended up with, pretty dimed on the Master EV5153. Is there anything this amp can't do? This amp is incredible. So we ended up just cranking the Master gain 1 o'clock, so 6.2 in this case. We ended up scooping the mids because it kind of didn't dawn on me at first, but the mids aren't really that present. It's kind of like a blanket feel about it, but it sounds like dirty. Like I think that's a pretty good outcome. I mean, this took me a lot more work than I thought it would. I also didn't think we would even need a boost pedal, but I think this amp definitely needs it just to kind of like give it that extra oomph, even though the 5153 is, 100 watt especially, is like one of the loudest amps around. It's digital modeling. You got to do different tricks to kind of get the sound, but I think you'll agree we got close enough that it actually sounds like you could play this live, you could put this in the mix, and it would sound really, really good. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play the stem track now. I'm going to lower the volume on the guitar a little bit. We're going to see how it sounds with my guitar over the top. No idea how to play this. Okay, we're not going to play through the whole song, but I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, there are probably a lot more things we could have done to actually make that sound better, but I feel like I wasted so much time pursuing a Mesa when I just couldn't get it to work with the pitch shifter for whatever reason. Maybe if my guitar was in that tuning, it would have been a little different outcome, because it seems like the pitch shifter really did kind of like it. I know it artifacts because it's digital, but it really artifacted that sound to the point where you saw I tried to get it working. I could have maybe EQ'd and done a whole bunch of other trickery on there, but it would have been a waste of time when clearly the trusty result is the EV5153. Never bet against it. It's such a dependable amp. You can see we had to do a few drastic things. I put the gain up to 6.2, master I dialed up to 8, and I had to lower the output because I think my active pickups were causing it to clip because it was being worked so hard, but also 8 on the master volume is quite a high volume, I guess, for an amp, 100-watt amp as well. So I've never owned the 100-watt version of it, but I can imagine 80% volume on a 100-watt amp is definitely not, it's definitely not going to be good for your hearing. So I think we should leave this there. As I said, I'm going to upload this to the cloud. What I'll do is I'll upload it right now to the cloud, because there's nothing worse when like you come across these videos and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to upload it, and then they never upload the preset, and then everyone's begging for it to be uploaded. Okay, this would help. Okay, that's on the cloud. I'll link it in the description as well. And, you know, if you have any feedback, things that you were probably watching it going, Dwayne, just do this. This is why your tone's not working, and I didn't even realize it. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how I did as well, because I actually found this tricky, even though high gain tones are my thing. This was different. This was a little bit more of a challenge for me, but I do think I got something quite usable in the end. And that's all that matters, really. It was a failed pursuit with that Mesa for quite a while there. But thank you for coming along the ride with me. And if you have suggestions for songs that you want me to tackle next in future episodes of this, please let me know, because I do take requests. It can be anything. Just as long as it's got a little bit of a challenge, maybe some with some effects in there, or something that really makes me sit down and go, how did they do that? And be able to employ all these techniques that I use to kind of go and hunt these sounds down. So thank you very much for your time. This video is probably very long, but I appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. See you later.